Hello folks, welcome back to my kitchen. Emily here, your Harvest Market dietitian, and I'm back with another delicious recipe for this week. You guys, this one is so easy. You are gonna wanna add it to your weekly meal rotation. It's so quick, it's so delicious. You can really make it out of kind of pantry staples, I feel like, and customize it. So we're making some chicken Caesar wraps. And why is this one a little bit special? Well, I'm doing a really simple dressing for this rather than a bottled dressing. It's not your typical Caesar. So traditionally Caesar does have, if we're talking really traditional, we're gonna be using like real homemade mayonnaise and eggs and anchovy paste or fresh anchovies. But I'm making it a little bit more simple with some pantry staples, and yeah, it's delicious nonetheless, and it comes together really quickly. So what do we have here? We have some cooked chicken. So this is just pre-cooked diced chicken, comes frozen, then we just heat it up. And you can really use any cooked chicken here if you have some left over, if it's shredded, if you have rotisserie. There are a ton of like pre-cooked chickens on the market right now that just make cooking so quick and easy, because typically protein is the thing that takes the longest to cook, right? So anyway, if you have some, if you don't have cooked chicken and you have some raw chicken, cook it up and then chop it up and throw it in your wrap. Super easy. Okay, so then we have just some romaine. I dumped it into my bowl along with my corn. So I went on to step, 2 or 3 of this recipe already. I just tossed it in my bowl. So you're gonna need a big mixing bowl like this. Really everything goes in here. And we just toss it up and then put it into our wrap. So we have our romaine lettuce, we have our corn, that goes in our bowl. I'm gonna set it off to the side. We're gonna heat our chicken through. So I really, really am a huge fan of kind of hot and cold combination things together in a meal. Some folks don't like that. If it's not your thing, you can eat this chicken cold, but I really highly recommend heating it up. When it's heated, it kind of like absorbs the dressing better, and I don't know, you can taste things better. I think it's interesting when we talk about the temperature of food, and our senses and our taste and our smell kind of changes depending on like what the temperature is of the food. So anywho, I'm going off on tangents. I get excited about food. So let's get started, shall we? This recipe comes together quick, so I guess that's why I'm feeling extra chatty today, because I know I have plenty of time. So what we're gonna do is dump that chicken into a bowl. I'm gonna cover it with some like a paper towel or something like that, and we're just gonna nuke it in the microwave for a minute or two till it's heated through. So in the meantime, I'm gonna get the rest of my stuff ready, because I kind of like to let this, I guess, marinate. I like to let all the flavors kind of come together and get to know each other in the bowl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start chopping up our tomatoes. So some of these guys are real tiny and some of these guys are real big. So for the tiny guys, I'm just gonna cut them in half, and then for the big guys, I'm gonna quarter them. So my knife, you guys, needs sharpening. I've misplaced my little handy dandy sharpener. I can't find it anywhere, but my knife needs sharpening. Because, how do I know my knife needs sharpening? Because I should be able to slice through these guys with really little resistance. And I'm feeling a lot of resistance here, and that's a really kind of a sure sign that my knife is ready for a good sharpen. So you don't have to do a big sharpen. You can just get, I have like a, $12, $10, $9 sharpener. It's nothing major. Okay, so I'm just gonna clean off my cutting board a little bit. Got some tomato juice. Do get some of that juice in there though, because it kind of lends to the overall flavor of the dish. So then I'm just gonna take the peel off the outside of my red onion. Love red onion in this. So I'm just gonna take it, so we have about 1/8 of a big red onion, and I'm just gonna do really thin slices this way. If you want more of a mince, go ahead and mince it up, but I like some thin, kind of medium slices, I suppose these would be. I'll show you here in a second. I'm getting all the way down to the nubbin. So we just have kind of these beautiful pieces, slices that we're just gonna toss in here. I don't want them too small, but I also don't want them too big so that we get a nice distribution in our dish. Okay, so shallot. So I love shallot. I love cooking with shallot. You might see this in recipes and be like, can I substitute with something else? You can, but why shallot? So, well, first of all, let's talk about cutting this guy. So this guy's a little bit of a bigger one. You see there's a root end where we have that root right here and then kind of the tail end, I guess. So we're gonna cut off the tail end and then I'm gonna slice this guy in half lengthwise. So we get two kind of longer pieces. And you see that peel kind of comes along with it. That's what we want. We're gonna go ahead and peel this. And we are going to finely dice this one because we want this to kind of just blend into everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start slices along the top. We're gonna leave this root end intact. So we're not gonna slice all the way through. We're just gonna slice right up until that root end. This is gonna keep everything held together for us. And the closer the slices are together, the smaller your dice will be. So I'm gonna do nice, really thin slices using the very tippity tip of my knife and just running all the way down. So I get kind of this, and you see it's all held together. So I have these really beautiful long slices. I'm gonna do that with the other side too. Making sure not to slice all the way through, going really close together because that really dictates, again, the size of our dice, and we want really small. Okay, so that's done. So then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna cut this way, and that's gonna give us a dice. That's it, okay? That is it. And again, same rule applies. The closer they are together, the smaller your dice will be, or mince, I suppose. So we're doing it pretty small. So running along, and then you should have kind of this nubby root end that you can just put off to the side. But then it's diced. That's it. See? Look at that. Ta-da! Easy peasy. If you have a different way of doing this that you prefer better, do it. This is just a way that I like to do it. Okay, so why shallot? So shallot is typically called for in recipes, raw, and usually in like dressings and things. So this is actually like a part of our dressing. It's an aromatic. So it's kind of a cross between garlic and onion. It's not as pungent as garlic because fresh garlic in a dish can be really, really pungent. And so we want some of that garlicky flavor because that's really kind of typical of a Caesar dressing, right? But we don't want it to be too pungent, so that's where shallot comes in. It's beautiful, it's delicious. Again, it really adds to the overall aromatics of the dish. So that's it. Ta-da! Okay, so those are our veggies. We are going to heat through our chicken really quick. I'm gonna grab a small dish so that we can mix our dressing, and I'll meet you right back here. Okay, chicken is heated through, so I do like to kind of stir it halfway between just to kind of evenly heat it. So that's done, off to the side. So now I have a small dish, and I'm just gonna combine my dressing ingredients together because I want it to be all mixed. Do you have to do this? Not really, but again, I just like to have it kind of all mixed. So we have like our big dressing cup here. This has the bulk of the ingredients. Really simple ingredients. So we're doing kind of my favorite combination. Excuse me, I have an itch by my eye. My favorite combination, which is anytime I'm using a mayo, I like to do half mayo and half Greek yogurt. It lightens it up a little bit. It's not ultra mayo-y that way. The yogurt gives a beautiful texture and kind of a tang, which is great. I love it. So we have yogurt, mayo, we have olive oil, white balsamic vinegar for vinegar or acidic ingredient. White balsamic because it's just so summery to me. It's slightly sweet. It's just good. It's just really good. It's good in this dish. Plays really nicely against the acidity of the tomatoes and the lemon that we're gonna add. So I'm just gonna put all this in here. And we also have Cavender's Greek seasoning, which is my favorite seasoning blend. It has everything all in it, a one-stop shop. Okay, so I like to use a butter knife. This is one of my favorite underrated tools in the kitchen. You can get little bits out of everything. You can mix things. You can slice, easily sliceable things. It's just a really great tool that's never really talked about, I feel like. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I scrape everything out of this dish. So we have all of our dressing ingredients in here, and then we have our Parmesan cheese. So this is fresh grated Parm, and we're gonna toss it all in. And again, that is pretty traditional to a Caesar. You typically do have some Parmesan cheese. So this is so good. And this can be eaten by itself. You don't have to do the wrap, but I love a good wrap. I really do. It's just kind of a great meal. You have everything all in one. It's very satisfying. Yeah, it's good stuff. So we have a lemon. So the 2-person kit, if you have a 2-person kit, you got half a lemon. If you have a 4-person kit, you got a whole lemon. So we're gonna do half of whatever I gave you and put it in here. So you've got a 2-person, you're gonna cut your half in half, and then we're gonna squeeze in the lemon juice. If you got a 4-person, you do half of a whole lemon and squeeze it in here. So again, lemon is very important in this, so we're gonna add that in there and then just kind of give it a little whisk. Beautiful. Save the rest of the lemon for this if you want more lemon, or save it for later. I don't care. Do what you will with it. We're gonna pour this in, scraping all that goodness out. Oh baby, she's gonna be delicious. Toss in your chicken, and then we give her a good toss. Oh my goodness. So hey, if you're making this ahead of time, I'd highly recommend adding the dressing in later or right before you're ready to eat it, because if we add the dressing too early, the salt will draw out the moisture from the lettuce. Since lettuce is mostly water, it's gonna get really, really soggy and mushy, and we don't want that. We want it to be nice and crisp and light and beautiful. Ta-da! Summery Caesar salad turning into a wrap. So these are generous size wraps, I'm well aware. But you know what? I want you to get the best bang for your buck, folks. If you can get 2, 3, whatever meals out of this, then great. I want you to be absolutely satisfied. We all have different preferences, different hunger levels, different days, whatever. Eat the whole thing, eat half, I don't care. It's all yours, okay? So if you wanna warm this through, you absolutely can. If you wanna toast it over open flame, I love doing that for kind of like a blackened charred tortilla. It's delicious. If you have a gas stove, you can do that. Anywho, it's good any way you decide to eat it. So what we're gonna do, you will, by the way, have some of this filling probably left over because we're not gonna put all of this into each wrap. So I'm just gonna form one wrap today. But this is, again, is a 2-person. So I'm just gonna take some of my filling and I'm gonna place it in the center. Just like so, making sure that I get a little bit of everything. You don't wanna overfill this puppy. Okay, I love the corn in here. It just adds another element of summeriness. I am milking summer, you guys. I am milking it for every last day that we have, and this is a perfect summer dish. So what I like to do first is kind of wrap in the sides and then pull it out like this. Okay, so we wanna fold the sides in, then I'm taking my thumbs and I'm putting it under here. And then I'm wrapping this up and over, oops, lost a tomato. Up and over like so, tucking that under, and then rolling it up. And the other reason why I'm doing such a big tortilla is because I like to tuck in the sides so that all my filling doesn't fall out. Okay, so then we're just gonna slice through. These puppies are messy and delicious. Look at that. Ta-da! Summer Caesar wrap complete. That's it. There she is in all its glory. These do want to open up and fall apart, so be careful, okay? I'm not kidding you when I tell you they're messy. totally worth it. If you want to like do, you know what sometimes I'll do is I'll take a wrap, and if it is for a wrap, I'll have like my filling over here and then my wrap right here, and I'll kind of like tear pieces off and make like bite-size wraps. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's a fun way to eat it. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. I so appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'll see y'all next time.